Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of our Journey of Love. I'm your co-host, Darius. This is my lovely wife, Z.
Thank you.
Right? Whatever. And like I said, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this episode. And this time, we're going to actually start a series. Well, that's the plan, to start a series for the month of January. And it's going to be titled Breaking Chains in Relationships. And what we mean by breaking chains is disconnecting from the negative things that have impacted us, or that negative behaviors that we've learned over the course of previous relationships, and how we want to evolve and become better and not have ourselves in that same cycle. And that's in multiple different relationships, and we're going to start this one off with parenting.
Yes.
Right? But for the first thing, as always, we start off with our talking point couple cards. Ladies first.
Is what's one time lately that I've made you feel great about yourself, and how can I do that more often?
So one time that recently is motivating me to not give up, even though like after I was going through studying and for my license, unfortunately I didn't pass. So just motivating me to not give up, continue to persevere, and just giving me different things that I could potentially do better the next time. And the way that giving me that constructive criticism, but doing it in a way that I was more receptive to it than times in the past. So I would say, doing more of that in the future, just, being mindful of how to deliver the message that you want to deliver.
For sure.
So, yeah.
Thank you. So you want me to say one for you?
That's what we do it on this show. Trying to weasel out. I don't do nothing.
No, you do. I would say with what has transpired lately, it has been a setback for me, like within my mental health, and you being there for me, comforting me, giving me my space, and then trying, like, I don't say trying, but making me laugh, and again, just being very supportive of my time of need right now. So thank you for that. And I think in the future, I hope not to be in this in this place for a long time. Right. There's nothing good about it, so it's not something that I would say I would need you to do more often. But I don't know what is different. Well, I don't know what is different, but I'm trying to figure out like what words to put in, because I would say like it's kind of like it's like your intuition, like you just know what to do. So I would want that, like, even when, yes, even like me not going through something and just be that. And I'll take like an example of, let's say, like in the mornings, right? Like I'm not a morning person at all. So in the mornings, you want to be cheerful, especially if you've already been awake for a while before I've gotten up. Yeah. And so you have more energy. You're coming in there already with like, so annoying, wants to do baby talk to me. And I'm like, stop, leave me alone. And I feel like I just need 2 hours to myself when I first wake up, to like, I need 1 hour for me to just be able to, again, wake up, my me time. So if I'm on my phone, then let me just enjoy that in peace. And then again, just slowly start waking up and moving, and then we can move on to that. But
yeah, we'll talk about that in another episode for sure.
But yeah. Again, thank you for being here for me in this time of need. I very much appreciate it.
You're welcome, most definitely. And like I said, and just to piggyback off of that, just knowing, like I said before, we are going to be real and authentic on our podcast. However, also being respectful of your mental space. So at some point, whenever you're ready to actually talk about it, then I'm pretty sure we'll have an episode where we'll talk about the situation, because it's situations everybody could go through. Dealing with what you're dealing with and what we're dealing with at this time. But just wanted to give that for our viewers, just to let them know that, we're not holding anything back. It's just, we definitely want to be mindful of, the mental space and mental health. So just
thank you. And just doing these itself is like therapeutic.
Yeah.
I don't really get up and do much right now, so it's having something to look forward to, and you are essentially like my safety blanket. I really need you like at arm distance. It's for me to be comfortable and feel safe and secure where I'm at. So to be able to do this with you versus like even whenever you're working and you work from home, but we're in two completely different rooms, So yeah, this definitely does help. And again, it gives me something to get my mind off of things, and just looking forward to each and every episode that we have coming up next.
Indeed. And hopefully you guys are looking forward to each and every episode as well.
Yes. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And share.
Share and comment.
Yes, the big four. My question: what was something you believed as a child that makes you laugh now?
That I believed as a child?
Yes, that makes you laugh now.
I don't know. What did I believe?
Everything.
I believed. I believed in Santa Claus for a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
I'm pretty sure I did.
But that makes you
because
laugh.
I would like question, we don't have a fireplace, so how is Santa Claus coming to our house?
Well, you saw when we watched
the movie Santa Claus. Yeah.
Makes a chimney out of anything. So.
Exactly. So I was like really little when my thought process was like, I actually believe that.
Yeah. Mine was my dad. He has a tattoo of a cobra on his forearm, and he told me when I was little, when he first got it, he was like, when he does his arm like this, like flexing his forearm, the cobra moves up his arm.
Are you serious?
So he would do it, and I believed it. So I was just like, "Oh, that's so good." So it makes me laugh now because as I think I was a little older, probably like the next year or two after he told me that, I was like, "Daddy, do the thing where he was like, well, I just told you that."
Yep. Like, so mean.
It's like this. Listen, but yeah, that's one thing that happened when I was a child. That makes me laugh.
That's crazy. Yeah, I don't think that I have anything. I want to say There probably is one, but I feel like that.
You don't want to make nobody mad.
I don't want to make anybody mad. If it's not going to be, I feel like it wouldn't make you mad. It doesn't make me laugh, but I really did believe it. And I think it's more so maybe like, what do you call it? Like, you know, I don't want to say like old times, but someone who grew up with like very strict rules and beliefs.
Okay.
Should I just say it? Okay. I'm sorry. So I'll say that you have to be a virgin in order to get married.
Moving on. Gonna jump right into.
You can edit this out if you want to. That's
jumping right into our topic here. Don't know where that was going. All right. So, like I said, getting into breaking chains and parenting. What is something you broke away from when it comes to parenting? So, what is something your mom did that you was like, as being a parent now, you're like, no, I want to break away from that because I didn't like how that affected me.
Right.
So I want
to. Verbal abuse.
Okay.
So there was a lot of belittling and just names, again, verbal abuse. I won't go into exactly the words that were used, but it stayed with me that as I grew older, and most definitely being a bonus mother now, working with the behavior care kids that I once worked with, I came to realize or recognize that the words that we spill over our kids, it really does make an impact.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes it's that you don't say it, right? So I want to make sure that I'm not being belittling her. I want to make sure that if she's not understanding, then there's no reason to be like, oh, you're just so effing stupid, or, you know, that's dumb, or anything like that. I want to work harder in making sure she understands it, or what part of it she doesn't understand something.
Yeah.
And so then that also goes into uplifting, because I didn't have that. So it's breaking, I guess, like, how would you say, like, you're breaking a chain of doing something that wasn't done to you or said to you, right? So giving her those positive affirmations, so she starts believing that within herself.
Right.
And our biggest thing was, like, we would tell her, you're so smart. And sometimes she'd be like, I know. But then when it would come to like doing things, so especially when we're looking at academics, math is one thing that she used to struggle with a lot.
Yeah.
And so she just would not want to do it. Even if her and her cousins would be playing and they're like, oh, let's play school. And they just randomly picked a topic. I don't like that subject. Oh, that's not. And now she just loves it because she understands it.
Yeah.
So, and I would tell her that it would be like, we can tell you you're smart, but you need to start believing that. And when you start getting confident with yourself, you're going to start noticing that too. And she has, and I just feel like that just boosted her ego. Like, she just has skyrocketed in school with academics, but then also within herself. And now the fact that in school she's helped teachers to help out other students with their schoolwork. And then even at times when her cousins come here, and if they're struggling with something, whether it's reading or math, she's like, let me help you out, or, you know, let me teach you how I learned, or try this out, you know. I love that for her.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. That is that's a great point, because that goes into kind of what I read the other day in regards to like trauma bonds that can be developed at an early age. And one of them...
Interesting. I didn't know you read.
I read. One of the things that I came across, it was title. I wrote it down just so I wouldn't forget.
I was wondering what that was.
Intermittent reinforcement. So essentially what that is, you know, how essentially you show them something or tell them something good, but then you backdoor it and you're abusive or belittling, like you said, just mean or whatever. So if there's no consistency, like I said, it's intermittent. So they don't have a good way of knowing or telling, I don't know what parent I'm going to get at this moment. And psychologically that can hurt them as they grow older. So definitely making sure to be more consistent in giving those positive affirmations, and also not being verbally abusive. So instead of saying, oh, you're fucking stupid, say, well, I don't understand that. That doesn't make sense. Can you explain to me what your thought process was when you did it?
Right.
That's a better way of trying to get that understanding, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, for sure. And there was, and even without it being in academics, it's something else. They could be doing something in the house, whether it's chores or something like that. But I remember going to the store. I can't recall if you were with me, but I know I was going to the store, and we had actually walked out of the store. So we were going towards the car, and there was a family walking on the sidewalk, and the child was on the outside of the family walking.
So the street.
Yeah. So a car was coming, and then the mom grabs the little boy. He had to have been maybe about 8 or 9. And she's just like, move, you fucking dumbass. And it's just like, it hurt me so bad, because I'm like, you're the parent. So wouldn't you have already consciously made that decision when you walk out and y'all are starting to walk, and if you're walking side by side, automatically put them on the inside?
Yeah.
Versus thinking they realize why. Like, that's something that we talked to KJ about even. Yeah. And we're like, KJ, understand, like, baby, if a car's coming and there's a car accident, or they're not watching where they're going, and then you're not watching, you're going to get hit. But if you're on the inside, we rather it be one of us versus you.
Yeah, and that's why, even just that little point, that's why I make sure that when we're walking, I'm on the street side, and y'all are on the inside. So anything else as far as
what I'm breaking away from?
Yeah, what you're breaking away from?
Definitely no whoopings.
Yeah. That was that's a no.
That was our big one on our list.
Yeah, that's a big one on our list. Is not breaking away from it totally and completely. So if it's more so of the punishment has to match what she did.
For sure.
So if it's extreme, or if it's something that we've had to tell her too many times. All right. Now I do have to revert back to, all right, you're not gonna get it unless you get this consequence. Yes. And 9 times out of 10, I don't even have to get to that point, because as soon as she sees the belt, it's
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So, but definitely moving away from that, to where it's not like every single thing that she does that's not that she does incorrectly. It's not a whooping that she gets. And I know part of that for me is why I broke away from it is because one, you were uncomfortable with it when we got together, and also that helped me start thinking more to where I was like, do I really want to, even though I'm her dad, but psychologically think that it's okay for a man to put his hands on her.
Right.
And
which is crazy because I never viewed it that way. I know because of my upbringing, they weren't just whoopings, they were actual beatings. And that's why, which is a question I meant to ask you as well, is I had already known, which is crazy, right? Sorry, our child just walked in.
Hurry
You've been
up.
awake this whole time?
No, she just woke up. Hurry up.
Oh, I sat right in there and you were asleep. Her popping out like Aunt Jemima or something, a big old bonnet, and then just stand there looking at us.
What y'all doing in here?
And we're back. The way she talks to Alexa, it always makes me
I don't
laugh.
even know where we were at.
I know. So I was gonna say, because of, like I was saying, because of my upbringing, right? That's why I was already against it. So I knew that that's not something that I wanted to do. So two things that I want to touch base on was I had always stood firm on, like, when I have kids, they will not get whoopings. I just don't feel like that is a what do you say, like not an active, but like a something that's going to actually correct the behavior.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, okay, I'm not going to do that. I would find a different consequence for them. And honestly, mine was, I'm going to have an empty room, fill it up with books, and they would have to go in there and read.
Prison.
That is not prison.
That is prison.
How is that prison?
You're going to lock them in a room full of books.
They wouldn't be locked in there. The door would be closed.
You're going to put them in a room full of
But it would be, and then it wouldn't work with our child because she loves to read.
Yeah.
She would literally be like in book heaven.
True.
But
I mean, I'm being facetious. I'm playing. It's not prison,
but that made me want to ask you, like, when you were a child, at any point before you even knew that y'all were expecting, did you ever think about, like, how am I going to discipline my child, or what am I know for sure this is one thing I'm not going to do?
Nope. I had no thoughts about how I'm gonna discipline my child. I didn't even think that far ahead, honestly.
See, and that's crazy because I didn't know exactly, like, how many kids I wanted. Did I want kids or anything like that? But I knew at a very early age growing up, I would not do this to my child because it was hurtful to me. So I knew that if I had kids, I would not do those things. And that's why I say, like, these are reasons why I say I am committed to it. The one thing that I feel like I did go back on was giving whippings, because you just don't know until you have your own kids. True. Right? Yeah. And then also, and I feel as a bonus parent, it is more difficult, especially more so whenever you did not have primary custody. You know, it was, how do you discipline a child when you really don't even get to see them that often? You don't want them to be like their memory of, oh, well, whenever I go to my daddy's house, I'm consistently getting corrected, or in her eyes, it was, I'm always getting in trouble.
Yeah. And yeah, that was part of that. And that's another thing that played a part in, scaling back and actually looking and changing my thought process on it, because it's like I'm already getting significantly less time with her. Mm-hmm. So, like you said, not every time you see me, you do something, you getting a whooping for it. And that's a thought that I didn't want her to have coming to see us. Is I'm getting in trouble consistently when I go see my dad and Z. And like when you said earlier, you're surprised that I had that thought process of a man putting their hands, putting their hands on her. That ties into my other point that I'm breaking away from, is arguing and disagreements in front of her.
Gotcha.
Because of me growing up, unfortunately, in a household that domestic violence was present, that tied into it. So that's why, and it's something that that we're both still working on, is when we're in a disagreement, to try to have that conversation as civil as possible without letting her know, and I can tell that because I didn't do that when I was with her mom, as far as having disagreements and arguments. It's because once she hears our voice elevate, even if we're now, joking,
yes,
and we're joking, she's, are you guys arguing?
Yes, and it's so frustrating to me.
And it's like
we're not arguing.
We're like just having a excited discussion, and it truly is an excited discussion. It's not even an argument. It's just, nah, you playing out.
It's crazy, because it could be like we are literally just playing around, or it could be something like a disagreement of like, where are we gonna go eat?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, can you guys stop fighting? And it's like,
and we're like,
we're not fighting. This is just a discussion. Like you can have disagreements and it not be a fight. And so, like I said, that's definitely a focus point that's top for me, because I don't want, and that's one of the main reasons why I separated from my daughter's mom, is because the relationship started to go that way, to where it was just a lot of arguing, and I didn't feel the need I didn't want my daughter to grow up in the environment that I grew up in.
Yeah.
So.
And that's crazy. It's, in my experience, when I've met people, someone who either, typically it is someone who grew up in a single parent household. They will go through everything with with their partner, whoever they had a child with, right? Just to make it work, because in their mindset, it's, I didn't have my dad in the picture, Right. So I want to make sure my child doesn't go through that. But at the end of the day, it's like, at what cost?
Exactly. Because, like I said, at what cost is it to then have your child grow up and then she's having the same issues or experiencing the same things that you did? How are you going to handle it?
Yes.
It doesn't make sense. Why have your child go through the point is to not have your child go through the same trials
trauma
that you went through.
Absolutely.
That's the whole point of parenting, in my opinion.
No, for sure. I think that when you are looking at what your parent did, right? Mm-hmm. That probably growing up or even now as an adult, you look back and you're like, I wish, my mom didn't handle situations the way that she did.
Right, of course.
But I could have easily just been like, oh, I don't care. My mom talked to me this way, or my mom handled things this way. So I'm going to do that with her, or I'm going to handle my situations like this. But it wasn't in the best way. So it is my responsibility to change that, not to just blame her and then be like, well, you did this. Yeah, you know what I mean?
That's where it comes in, being that accountability comes in.
For sure, because I think even now, I know, you're going to say really right now, but I recall at times where like my mom would get upset at the way that my older sister would discipline her kids. And if she didn't agree with it, it'd be crazy where we're just like, you did worse, or you did the same thing. Oh, well, I don't care. That's different, and da da da.
Like it's not different
at
all.
It's not different. So it's just like you have to know at some point, and this is my opinion, is when you've gone through something as a child, then at some point you become an adult, and it is your choice and your decision to sit there and say, I'm going to break away from this. Mm-hmm. It is not healthy for me. It's not a light switch, right? So you can't just instantly be like, I'm no longer going to think this way or move this way. But it's going to take time. So you'll eventually start seeing progress within yourself on the way that you handle situations. More importantly, when you're handling things when it comes to your child.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all about first accepting that you are exuding that behavior. Mm-hmm. I'm doing things in a way that was done to me, but I didn't like those things that were being done to me. So why am I putting my child through this? So yeah, I need to change that, because if I felt this way when it was done to me, I know 9 times out of 10 my child is going to feel the same way. So definitely breaking that pattern to not continue to do those things. And like I said, looking back on it, being a parent now, well, not now, but becoming a parent. Becoming a parent, you definitely take a step back and look at how your parents raised you, and definitely get an appreciation and understanding. Even though, like, hey, parenting doesn't come with a book. There's no instructions on that. Even though people write out books on how to help you with parenting, I mean,
I've gotten them. It helps a little bit.
I mean, it definitely does help a bit, but you know what you know, and they're trying the best that they can. And you understand, like, all right, even though this wasn't the best decision, I would want something. I would handle it different now. Hopefully, the decisions that were made were in the best interest for your child.
For sure.
And that brings me to what were some positives that your mom did that you're like, okay, I like that. I want to make sure that my child gets that part of me as well in parenting.
Her work ethic. She was a very independent, has always been a very independent person. So, definitely trying to show KJ about that. It's nothing is given to you. You earn it. You work for it. You will appreciate it a lot more as well. Whenever you are, you know that the work that you put into to receive something versus everything just being handed to you.
Of course.
So I think that is my biggest takeaway. And yeah, that's just something that I work hard to make sure that we're instilling in her as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and you definitely have a great work ethic. That's so that's one thing I do admire about you, because I know when we first started when we first started
on your nose.
When we first started dating, you would work so much overtime, and I was like, it's like, dang, I don't even want to stay here past my regular. I don't want to stay here for my regular shift. And you come in and do more, and I was working 2 jobs, and you was in, and you was just
then
like,
I got you on working overtime.
Yeah,
just like,
you was just like, instead of doing that,
2 jobs, work here.
Yeah, just work the overtime, and it's like, all right. So now I don't mind overtime when it's there, sometimes. But that work ethic part that you got from your mom is essentially kind of the same thing of what I got from my dad as a positive. He was really big on taking care of business before pleasure. So that's where it comes in. Hey, you come home, you need to take care of your homework if you have homework, do your chores, do your routines that you need to do before you say, can I play on my Switch? Can I do this? Can I do that? No. And all the business needs to be handled first before you can enjoy it, because it doesn't make sense for you to do all this and then, hey, did you do this? Oh, no, I didn't. Why? Makes no sense. So that's one thing I got from my dad, and from my mom. What I got for her is
being a softie.
Yeah. No.
But I love and adore that.
But seriously, just her, the way that she sacrificed, anything and everything for my brother, for me and my brother and my sisters. So that's definitely a positive thing that I took from her, is making sure that you do any and everything for your child. And even though that's supposed to be a thing you do, right? Because
like an automatic thing you do.
Yeah, you're supposed to provide for your child, but the extra steps, the extra things that she would do to make sure that we were taken care of, even if that meant, if she didn't have, we had.
One of your childhood stories that I love is your mom reading bedtime stories to you guys. It's like such a white thing to do. Oh. Because I didn't know one Mexican mom or dad that sat there and read books to their kids. I saw that on TV in a White House.
In a White House? What White House?
In a white household.
I was the White House, did what?
So, yeah, I just thought that was like the sweetest thing.
Yeah, you know what's
And
funny?
I'm just like, she really
Took that time.
she took the time, but she like that just shows like how much she really wanted to provide you and your sisters with memories and having like those good memories, having that safe place, and you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
not just being a toxic household or drama or whatever the case is, you have this too. So
Yeah, and that was part of that's part of the sacrifice that I'm speaking of. Is even though everything that was going on in the house, like I said, it wasn't the best at times, right?
yeah,
But she still pushed through and push through herself to still make it a livable situation for us.
yeah,
Even though, like I say, if it probably wasn't the best thing to do for us to stay
right.
there. However,
She made the best out
she
of
makes
it.
the best out of what she thought was the best decision,
Yeah.
right? And it was funny, like I was going to say about the books. I had a book that it had a picture of me in it, and anytime that you turn the page, I would be a different profession. So basketball, astronaut, fireman, or whatever. And anytime you tell me I had my face on it, and my sister Nisha, she gets so mad because she doesn't have one. I got two of those books. She didn't have one. And my mom was like, "Well, the lady stopped making them by the time you was born." So, I was like,
You're such a dork. The other one I was gonna speak on was to be vulnerable in front of KJ and showing that I know that for me personally, I didn't really see my mom do that. Like it's like maybe I would hear her in her room.
yeah.
Being emotional, but I think like the memories that I recall on it was more so when it was for a relationship, not really our household. Like if we were going through something, at least not, again, like not to my knowledge, but I know that we used to go to couples therapy, and that was one thing that the counselor had suggested for you, is like maybe showing KJ that side of you as well, to allow her to feel comfortable to open up and speak to you.
Yeah.
About things.
Be vulnerable.
Stop.
Love you, Dr. Tammy. Thank you so much. You helped us so much. But yeah. So that's some good things. Well, that's all I had in regards to this specific topic this time. So
yes, my recommendation again would be continue speaking positive talk to your child. Mm-hmm. Just because I feel like just because you're not saying something, so just because you're not being verbally abusive or demeaning, belittling your child, doesn't mean that's enough. A child truly does need to hear that you love them, what specifically about them you love so much or makes them special to you. And then also letting them know like, that they're smart, you know what I mean? What they're good at and things like that. Interacting with them, finding something that you know they love and making that time to to spend with them. Yes, because it really does carry with you, and you get to remember that. As I said, like even with me, in my household, the way that my mom was, she was a very strict parent, but I cherish those memories where like I knew, for one, every Friday we always got to go out to eat together as a family. But then you also had those times where she would be playing with us outside or maybe going to the park with us, and it was like having for that split moment, it was like having an older sibling and they're playing with you versus that is my parent, you know. And so when they can see that as well, another thing would probably like letting them know accidents happen. You know, no one is perfect, and allowing them to correct it and know for the future without making them feel small.
No, that's definitely some good points, because I remember a lot of things from my childhood growing up with my parents. Like, I mean, you've seen the videos going to the park and playing with my cousins and nieces, just sitting there swinging on the swing. Vividly remember playing basketball with my dad or being in the car with him, just driving around. So definitely investing that time in your kids. Like Zeke said, just finding out what they like and spending time with them doing the things that they like. To me, that will go a long way, because they'll remember my mom and my dad were interested in me. That's what you're sowing into, and always just, you know, pray over them, and you know, and just make sure that, you know, you keep God first in everything that you do.
For sure. But till next time, guys.
Next time.
Don't forget, again, like,
share,
subscribe,
and comment.
And we leave with this prayer.
Yes. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you. Thank you for allowing us to wake up and see this day. Continue to watch over us. Continue to help us in making sure that we're being positive in this parenting, helping our daughters grow, helping our everyone who's going to watch this help them in their parenting as well. Touch them, dear Heavenly Father. Touch the kids, their innocent babies. Just continue to help us to grow, not just the little kids, the older kids as well, the teenagers, the adults even. We ask that you mend any parenting relationships. Let them know that those are important as well. And in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I love you.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.